What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Kevin McCarthy, he's saying that the U.S. debt ceiling deal is popular with the House Republicans, but we got to get everybody to sign off on this thing. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on that. Jane Fonda, she's blaming white men for climate crisis and is calling to arrest and jail them. Vladimir Putin is terrified of Ukraine's counteroffensive. Yeah. 4 major social security changes that Biden is releasing that could hit your bank account in 2024. We're going to talk about that in this video. And Disney is hitting back against DeSantis. And I'm going to share with you guys some of the best stocks that you can invest $1,000 into right now. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you guys are at it, go ahead and smash that like button. I really would appreciate that, guys. We got a lot to get into, so let's go ahead and get started. Also, for the very best way to invest in gold or silver, check out the links in the description down below this video. So U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on Sunday, he said that he expected a debt ceiling deal to be struck when the White House was to attract support with a majority of House Republicans. Kevin McCarthy told Fox News that more than 95% of the House Republicans were very excited about the agreement, and that it included pay-go restrictions that would prevent future legislation from pushing up the deficit. Okay, we'll see where that goes. So Jane Fonda, she's blaming white men for climate crisis, and she's calling to arrest them. So Jane Fonda, she blamed men and racism for climate change during a conversation at this year's Cannes Film Festival, arguing that without this patriarchy, the crisis allegedly of epic proportions would cease to exist. What do you guys think about that? She says, this is serious. We've got about 7-8 years to cut ourselves in half of what we use of fossil fuels. And unfortunately, the people that have the least responsibility for it are hit the hardest. Global South, people on islands, poor people of color. It is a tragedy that we have to absolutely stop. We have to arrest and jail those men. They're all men behind this. So, I hadn't even heard the name Jane Fonda in so long. Anyway. So apparently she's still kicking. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about Jane Fonda's statements? She goes on to say that, quote, "It's good for us to all realize there would be no climate crisis if there was no racism. There would be no climate crisis if there were no patriarchy, a mindset that sees things in a hierarchical way. White men are the things that matter and everything else is at the bottom," end quote. So, yeah, like I said, I'd love to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think. And my medical strip is always coming off. I think it's because my skin is a little bit oily. But anyway, the doctor says I'm supposed to wear this thing for like a total of 8. I think he said 12 weeks. 12 weeks is how long I'm supposed to wear this strip, even though I'm done healing technically, but supposed to help to reduce the scar. Go figure. I'm not going to argue with the doctor. So anyway, did you guys hear about this Kentucky man who ran out of gas and he ended up buying a $1 million lottery ticket? Kind of crazy, guys. So a Kentucky man ran out of gas, and ultimately he, went to fill up his gas tank, and he ended up filling up his bank account by accident. So this guy by the name of Michael Schlemmer of Corbin, he coasted to the gas pumps in the convenient food mart in his hometown and decided to buy a $20 scratch-off ticket while he was in there. He ended up scratching off a $1 million winner. According to the Kentucky Lottery, quote, he said, "I ran out of gas and I coasted in there." Schlemmer said in the news release he had $40. He said he had $40 on him. He bought $20 worth of gas and bought a ticket. Wow. Unbelievable. Have any of you guys ever won the lottery? Do you know anybody who's won the lottery? I love to hear from you guys. How did that go? And if you have won the lottery, just share your story. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let's see. What did he say? He said, "I scratched it off and I looked at it and I went back in the store. I showed the girls that sold it to me and they about had a fit. The owners of the store were The owners of the store were there, and they both started grinning. Heck, I'd be grinning too. That's crazy, because I think that the store or the gas stations that sell a winning lottery ticket, they actually get a kickback from the Lottery Association. So pretty cool. Schlemmer got the check on May 18th. He decided to take the lump sum of $862,000 rather than the annual annuity payments. He said after taxes, Schlemmer filled up his bank account with $616,333. Not a bad win. Not a bad win. Makes me want to kind of maybe grab a scratch off ticket every now and then. Vladimir Putin, he is terrified of the Ukraine's counteroffensive. So Putin is in a panic over the expected Ukrainian counteroffensive, which may have already been in its preliminary battlefield shaping stage. Now, he doesn't know any more than the rest of us do. When will the offensive be launched? Where will it strike, or will it even succeed? What he does know is that if it achieves significant success, his own days might be numbered, with fissures already opening inside the Kremlin and between its most important henchmen. Now, interestingly, I keep hearing these rumors. I don't know if you guys are hearing these rumors as well, but I keep hearing rumors that President Vladimir Putin may actually have cancer. I'm not sure how accurate these rumors are, but I'd just love to hear from you guys. Did you guys hear any confirmation on that, or have you heard any rumors on that as well? Drop me some comments down below, guys. The Russian army's thinly stretched troops have been preparing strong defensive positions all along the front line to repel an attack or series of attacks, and planning their own spoiling operations. But aside from the balance of forces, critically important to the Ukraine's success or failure is morale. Putin knows that it is fragile among its own troops. It's so hard to really tell who's really winning in this war. We keep dumping billions upon billions of your taxpayer dollars over to the Ukraine, but yet, Russia seems like in some of these updates that Russia actually is destroying the Ukraine. And then in other cases, you got Vladimir Zelensky trying to convince us that they're winning and that we should continue to invest our hard-earned money into keeping this war going so that they can pretty much finish off the job as if they're winning. So your guess is as good as mine. Social Security changes that could happen from the Biden administration and hit your bank account by 2024. Let's dig into this, right? So as the Social Security Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust, they always come up with these long names to describe government entities and subsidies. Anyway, they're also known as the OASI. They're facing depletion by 2033. President Joe Biden has suggested that MSN calls a sweeping 4-point plan to bolster funds in the trust and actually help the $22.4 trillion funding shortage. Can you imagine that? You're short, it's one thing you pull up to the gas station and you're short like $20 for gas, right? This fund is short by $22.4 trillion. Unbelievable, right? If the federal government can't fix the shortage, it could result in benefit cuts up to 24% for retirees beginning in 2023. Now, just imagine this, right? Assuming they don't fix this thing. Imagine you're used to getting your $1,000 Social Security check, and then all of a sudden, it's the first of the month, and your check hits your bank account. You're expecting $1,000, and only $750 comes in. That is really screwed up, right? While some of Biden's proposed changes will affect mostly high-income earners and company executives, those who have retirement savings plans exponentially higher than the average American, some will affect middle and lower income wage earners, especially those who rely on Social Security benefits in the future. Don't be surprised for SSI and SSDI to be affected by this. Implement payroll tax for income over $400,000. So currently, any earned income that's below $160,200 is subject to 12.4% payroll taxes. Earnings exceeding that amount are not subject to the OASI taxes. Now, President Biden plans to tax earned income over $400,000, leaving wages above $160,200 up to $400,000 untaxed. I don't know if I trust this yet, guys. I've heard a lot of promises from this guy. I don't know if I've seen enough come into fruition to actually have a whole lot of faith on what's actually going to happen on this one. They also want to change the way that the COLA increases are calculated for Social Security, for SSI, for SSDI. Each year, Social Security benefits are assessed based on inflation and adjusted through cost of living allowances, the COLA, right? Currently, the administration uses the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPIW, to calculate the COLA. But this number doesn't necessarily reflect the lifestyle and the expenses of retired people. So they want to shift the COLA calculations to figures that are tied to the Consumer Price Index for the elderly. And ultimately, they believe that this would help to address some of the social security concerns related to Social Security running out of money. So here's the deal. Low wage earners receive a special minimum benefit regardless of how much they made while they worked. In 2023, a lifetime low earning worker would receive just $12,402 in Social Security benefits. Now, I don't know how much you guys get in Social Security benefits, but these are the numbers here that they have provided, or $1,033.50 per month. This is what they're saying in 2023 that a low earning worker would receive $1,033.50 per month. Now, Biden intends to increase the minimum benefit to 125% of the federal poverty level. And this is for an individual. As an example, in 2023, somebody receiving the special minimum benefit would receive $1,518.75 per month with this boost. How many of you guys think that will be enough? How many of you guys think that this would not be enough? Just if you think it would be enough, just say enough. If you don't think that this is enough, just say not enough, right? Make it simple. Disney, they are hitting back against Ron DeSantis. So the Magic Kingdom is letting its money do all the talking. Now, I'm pretty sure the Disney Corporation is pumping in at least $1 billion a year into the tax coffers of the state of Florida. So when Disney talks, Ron DeSantis listens. Now, you can now put a price tag on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' feud with Disney, according to Nicole Neria, already embroiled in a lawsuit of DeSantis' efforts to end its special self-operating status. Disney said last week it's scrapping plans for a $1 billion development in Orlando that would have relocated thousands of white-collar workers to the Sunshine State. Wow. I don't know if you guys realize what has happened. So basically, it looks like Ron DeSantis may have pissed Disney off. And Disney's like, all right, you want to play like that? We're not going to drop $1 billion on this development in Orlando. And you guys are going to now miss out on potentially thousands of high earning white collar workers coming into Florida because we're pissed off, because you are not making us happy. Right. So by Disney not being willing to invest $1 billion into this development, the state of Florida is going to miss out on all sorts of tax revenue that would have been generated from these thousands of highly paid white collar workers coming into the state of Florida from other states. And they're going to miss out on all sorts of tax revenue that would have been generated from this $1 billion development in the form of tourists. So I got a feeling that the conversation is going to change in the favor of Disney in the very near future. So Disney Parks chief Josh I don't even know how to say his last name. Anyway, so he cited changing business conditions for the about face, which also included closing the Star Wars hotel, known for rates starting at $6,000 for a family of 4 after just 2 years. Whoa. I mean, Star Wars is cool and all, but How many of you guys will be willing to drop $6,000 for a family of four to be able to hang out in the Star Wars hotel? Let me know. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on that one. This thing keeps coming off. I'm just gonna take it off all the way. It's like not sticking on the bottom. And as you can see, I'm already pretty healed. That strip that I was wearing is really just to kind of help mitigate, to make the scar not be as attractive as possible. But anyway, it's kind of cosmetic more than anything else. I'm gonna get a new one in a minute. But let's see. So yeah, Disney is in control of the purse strings. No doubt there. So let's talk about the best stocks to invest $1,000 in right now. How would you guys like to make a couple $1,000 off of $1,000? Well, if you would be interested in that, let's talk. So the stock market has been recovering slowly but steadily in 2023. In fact, the stock market has actually been performing better in 2023 than it did in 2022. I guess it's not really hard to do that when the stock market really just sucked in 2022. You guys saw the S&P 500. So anyway, if you were in the stock market last year, you got destroyed. But if you're in the stock market this year, you're doing pretty good. And this is why I do a lot of dollar cost averaging into my favorite ETFs and index funds and Vanguard and M1 Finance and Fidelity. And so here's the thing. No one has a perfect crystal ball. And, in terms of trading in and out of stocks, I'm not trying to do all that. I'm not trying to be an expert, right? I let the experts be the experts. Now, here's the thing. The stock market has been recovering slowly but steadily since 2023. And this is evident from the 7% gains that the S&P 500 has already logged so far, despite having multiple headwinds, such as the banking crisis in the United States. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, the First Republic Bank, you got Signature Bank collapse. So then we also have the debt ceiling and the potential for a recession. Multiple warnings coming from JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon. The list goes on. However, this year's stock market recovery is not without reason. Cooling inflation, the Federal Reserve's decision to slow the pace of rate hikes, and the hot trends such as artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT, you name it, right? So if you have $1,000 to spare right now, which means your bills are paid, you got enough in your emergency fund, you guys are taken care of. You're not paying any kind of high interest credit card debt or any type of high interest loan service. You're up to date on all your bills. If you have an extra $1,000 on top of that, here are some stocks you might consider doing some research on to see if, it might be a good fit for you in terms of investment. Now, I am not being sponsored by anyone on this video. I'm just sharing a couple of stocks with you guys. So basically, let's talk about Apple. Ticker symbol AAPL on the NASDAQ. So Apple is one of the largest, most valuable companies by market capitalization. And that is not surprising given how, it's been basically navigating challenging smartphone sales this year. Now, this particular tech giant's revenue for the second quarter of fiscal year 2023 for the 3 months ended April 1st of 2023 came in at $95 billion in 3 months, guys. Now, this is actually down just 3% from the previous year period. Now, this is because Apple's smartphone shipments, the shipments fell just 2.3% year over year in the first quarter of 2023, which is a lot smaller decline compared to the 14.6% decline in overall smartphone shipments. Now, as a result, Apple, they currently control about 20% of the smartphone industry shipments, second only to Samsung. I didn't even realize this. Samsung's actually outselling phones compared to Apple. Samsung sitting at 22.5% of the market share. But here's the thing. Apple's terrific smartphone pricing power explains why the company has been able to corner nearly half of the industry's revenue, sitting at 85% of the profits. The iPhone commands an average selling price of almost $1,000, and this figure has been increasing at a time when the industry is under duress. So even though we've been dealing with a looming recession, increasing inflation, everything in their mama is more and more expensive. You want to go out in there and invest in a piece of real estate or buy a single family resident, it's going to cost you almost double what it would have cost you about a year and a half ago because of the higher interest rates. And in spite of all of this, Apple has been able to increase the cost of their iPhones and keep the sales strong. That's pretty impressive. So this bodes well for Apple's future, as the smartphone market's revenue is expected to head significantly higher by the end of the decade. Spherical Insights estimates that the global smartphone market could generate $947 billion in annual revenue by 2030, compared to the $520 billion in 2021. That is almost doubling the income in this industry. Now, if Apple manages to corner half of the massive revenue opportunity, its iPhone revenue could jump to nearly $475 billion a year. Now, this would more than double the company's fiscal 2022 iPhone revenue of $205 billion. So what do you think that this would do to the iPhone? What do you think this would do to Apple's shares and the value of the iPhone and the value of the Apple stock? This is what you got to think to yourself about, right? Now, here's the thing. Apple has turned $1,000 investment into more than $3,800 in the past 3 years, assuming that the dividends were reinvested. And it could replicate this performance in the future, assuming a number of these different variables hold true. Now, let's talk about the trade desk. Many of you guys may or may not have heard about it. Ticker symbol TTD. It's another high-flying stock that has turned, get this, guys, this stock has turned $1,000 investment into over $8,000 in the past 5 years. Now, this is just wild, right? And this is in spite of how bad 2022's stock market performance was. So this company has won big from the growing adoption of programmatic advertising, which allows brands and advertisers to automate their ad buying and their campaign management. So, for example, the programmatic ad spending in the United States nearly doubled to $95 billion last year from $49 billion in 2018. So the programmatic advertising market still has a lot of room for growth. And, and this is why I always tell people, that, it's still a really good time to start a YouTube channel because, think about all of the different advertisers that are going to be looking for a place to advertise their products at, right? But I'll save that for another video. Drop me some comments down below if you'd like to learn how to get your own YouTube channel up and off the ground. So this space is expected to clock annual growth of 32% over the next 5 years and generate a whopping $2.7 trillion in revenue. And this is nothing to sneeze at, right? Now, this explains why the company sees the total global advertising spending of $830 billion as its addressable market. So this is Trade Desk. So basically, in all, considering the huge market opportunity that the Trade Desk is sitting on, it could grow at a significant pace in the long run. So I just wanted to share these two stocks with you guys. So you got Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, and then we also covered Trade Desk, or the Trade Desk, ticker symbol TTD. They're both NASDAQ stocks. And so, if you got $1,000 to invest, I would probably start looking into these and start doing my own due diligence. I would start, just taking a look and see if these are a good fit. If something else is a good fit, maybe it's no stocks for you. Maybe it's investing in an ETF, Vanguard, iShares, Charles Schwab. Maybe it's an index fund. Maybe it's an ETF. Maybe you invest in yourself. Maybe you start a home-based business. Maybe you create a side hustle that you do on the side. You maintain your 9 to 5 job, but you increase your income, you supplement your income through a side hustle or maybe a home-based business. But the opportunities are there. Now, right now, you should see a video here and a video here. Definitely click on those videos and check those out. But if you guys made it this far in the video, definitely drop a like for the video, subscribe to the channel, and also share this video with everyone you know. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me again tonight. I wish you guys the best. Happy Memorial Day, and y'all be safe.